I suppose we're going to be, even though COVID will come to an end, like you talking about, they already got an action plan there in the UK. But I still feel that we're going to be experiencing the effects of the whole pandemic for months, maybe if not years from now. And South Africa is probably be one of the countries that is going to suffer the most. But I mean, I saw a thing the other day about the South African unemployment rate. So the unemployment rate between October and December last year was up to 32%. And this week, I think it was, they mentioned that it's over 40% now.
Yeah.
And what was it this time last year, pre-pandemic?
Oh, God, now you're asking me.
But like this time last year was already pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 27 or something. I've got a number in my head of 27. Yeah.
Where's producer Bex when you need her?
Yeah, well, she's...
Sabbatical.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say she's on
Sabbatical.
Sabbatical.
Just... Anyway, she'll be back next week. So then she'll work twice as hard.
So,
It's a very short
I mean,
sabbatical.
what was it? Did you say 35%?
Yeah, 32.5% between October and December. But I think this week they said that it had shot up to 40%. And I mean, yeah, dude, and
I mean, that's encouraging for people coming out of school and university. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole if you want. Yeah, I don't know. Especially for people that are graduating. I think it's going to be difficult because I mean that means that in this country, formally there are like 11 million people without work, and yeah. But something that I found quite interesting was that the economic growth rate in the last couple of years has been between 1% and 2%, and they reckon that in 2021 the economy is going to expand by 3.6%. So I would imagine that's meant, obviously, with the unemployment, that the economy is contracted, and it's going to probably like rectify. But when it rectifies, it looks like it's increased by 3.6%. But actually, it might only be going back to what its levels were before the pandemic. So I suppose you always got to be careful when you look at these stats.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they're saying that the economic growth is not enough to make a dent in the unemployment rates.
Well, I think as well, if companies have been cutting back to ensure the survival of the organization, they're gonna run a slimline organization for a while yet, just to rebuild it.
Yeah.
Before they start taking on more people cost.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, here's also an interesting thing about this whole situation is like, think about this. You got a company who had to cut back on their salary bill. So either they laid people off or they reduced their salaries by a percentage, let's say 20%. Okay. So the company survives, right? It comes now to the end of the financial year, and now the CEO gets a pat on the back for doing such a great job at, making the company survive. And now he gets his bonus. Now, how do you think that the people that A, have been laid off, and B, people that had to take a salary reduction feel?
It's not going to go down well. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And I bet they'll have some caveat going, well, it's not as big as it could have been.
Yeah.
So, he has taken a cut. She has taken a cut. Let's not be sexist about this.
But
Yeah.
it's not going to go down well. I mean, like
Lead balloon kind of stuff.
if the company is wasn't doing well, right? Even if they are starting to see the turnaround, I don't see why the executives would get a bonus out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm throwing it out there. I'm saying, like,
But the thing is,
what's the vibe,
But the thing is, it's also like it really depends on the contract, because it's also a contract between, let's just say, the company and the executives.
Yeah.
So and those contracts sometimes they're signed for like 2-3 years, sometimes for longer, depending on the company, and
Yeah,
and
sure.
there's a lot of caveats in those contracts. So
Mm.
I wouldn't like immediately say, you know, it's a wrong thing to do. It's also really depends on the circumstances of what is the legal liability of the company if they don't pay the bonus, right?
I don't know. I mean, surely a lot of those, like the CEO's bonus is based on performance,
Yeah.
and hence the reason why he might be getting the bonus because of the fact that under the revised financials or whatever, he still maybe exceeded expectations or whatever.
in both the negative and the positive way.
Well, I mean, it's quite. And I put this in inverted commas. It's quite easy to make the financials if you reducing people's salaries and maybe making people
Yeah.
redundant.
Yeah.
Because I never know how do they put like retrenchment packages or severances packages. I don't know what that looks like on the books, on the balance sheet. I don't know where they put that. Is it a thing that they've already been preparing for?
Yeah, they need to budget for that.
Yeah. So
Well, depending on the scale, you know, but obviously
yeah,
the
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
the scale, the more you need to
Yeah.
budget for it.
Because I mean, like one's annual leave, the value of that sits on their books as a liability. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's enough for our accountancy section this morning.
I think